Hey everybody, it's me again, Adam Chapnick with the Security Token Academy. We are here in Los Angeles at the Crypto Invest Summit 2018 talking to all of the most interesting people on planet Earth. One such person is sitting beside me right now. That is Henry Elder. He's the president of Digital Asset Advisors. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me on.
All right,
it's always a pleasure to be on the Security Token Academy broadcast.
That's very kind of you. Now, I'm sorry for setting such a high bar, as you have to be the most interesting person on Earth.
Oh gosh.
So what could possibly go wrong?
Oh, so much.
Okay, so for everyone who's never heard of Digital Asset Advisors, what is it? What do you guys do?
Sure. Yeah. So we actually have two different businesses that we partake in.
Okay.
One of those is we work with companies that are either pursuing an asset tokenization or a security token offering, and then the other one is we work with conventional businesses that either want to understand the blockchain or potentially implement it into their existing business practices.
Got it. Amazing. Okay, so which one of those is the more sort of active side right now?
We bring clients in on the conventional side, and then oftentimes they end up on the security token, asset tokenization side as well, right?
Amazing. Well, we are, I particularly am much more interested these days in the whole asset tokenization. We talk a lot about, since we came out of sort of the crowdfunding world, the equity crowdfunding, sort of just issuance to raise money. It's awesome, we love it, obviously, with the Security Token Academy.
Sure.
But lots of people are trying to tackle it in different ways, and fewer people are sort of in the fractionalization of specific assets or tokenizing of assets. What are you seeing in that space?
Right, so we actually started the company originally to work with one client in particular, and that was Slice.
Oh, okay.
And Slice was tokenizing LP equity interests in commercial real estate all over the country for sale to international investors, right? Which we thought was an incredible use case, and Slice has found quite a bit of success with that. But one of the things that Slice found was that a lot of the investors they were speaking to were not quite so interested in the blockchain side of it, right? The international investors were like, look, we really want access to the product that you have, the actual real estate, right?
Of course, right.
We don't really care so much about the blockchain side of it. And that was why on the DAA side, for Digital Asset Advisors, we were like, okay, we need to get more into educating these institutions, because everyone is tackling, all right, let's tokenize the world, right? Let's move all securities onto the blockchain. Let's tokenize every single asset. But the problem is, if the actual investors, the buyers of those tokens, don't understand the benefit of the blockchain, well then they're not going to buy them. They're just going to look at that and say, well, why don't I just do it the way that I did before? And there's still a little bit of that association with the dark days of crypto, right? When Bitcoin was sort of a dirty word, and people were like, oh, it's just money launderers and whatever. And we empirically know from studies with the London School of Economics and here in the United States as well, that no longer happens, right? But in the world at large,
of course,
the public,
people don't understand.
They still have a little bit of that, and so it's...
Well, there's a lot of problems with that. Not only is it just fundamental misunderstanding, but also from like the perspective of the ecosystem itself, everybody's excited about like the liquidity premium that we're going to get. But if they don't even understand that there's a benefit of liquidity, they're going to keep the price low. Everything.
And there's no liquidity, right?
And there is no liquidity. Right. That's the problem. So that's a super interesting observation.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the answer to that? To having all of you've got a ton of money that wants into fractionalized real estate, but they don't get that it's better to have it through a token system. What's
it's education.
And how do we educate? Is there maybe some sort of channel that does videos with experts like yourself focused on security tokens that could help? Maybe.
I think that's a fantastic start.
We should try that.
Yes.
But after that, what else?
Yes. So it is, it's a multi-step process, right? So for instance, if you want to create a security, right? Or if you want to convince someone that has securitized assets normally, and you're like, okay, well now you should securitize them on the blockchain, right? Well, there are a series of steps that they have to go through that you need to get them comfortable with the fact that blockchainifying it will not have a negative impact on each step of that process, right? So for instance, with real estate, it's valuation, right? A REIT is particularly interested in how the asset, the security asset that they're creating that's tied to the real estate will be valued, right? And so you need to talk to the firms who are valuing those assets, the securities themselves, and say, all right, if we put this on the blockchain, how will that affect the process by which you value the securities themselves,
and
right?
do you even understand what we're saying?
Yes.
It's also important, right?
Yes,
Before you
exactly.
answer that question.
It's one step at a time, and it's
Right.
also, you go in to talk to these people.
That's very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, that to go straight to the people who are creating the valuations
Right.
is a very obvious but a solution that I hadn't considered. to be
Right,
honest.
right, and a lot of people aren't thinking about it
Right.
because in the blockchain space, everybody's so excited. They're
Yes,
like, oh,
right.
we're going to change the world. We're going to create these things and people are going to buy them.
That's right.
But the thing is, no, there are intermediaries that our industry is obsessed with the idea of disintermediation. But there are intermediaries that are actually very important for that process.
Yes.
Because as an issuer, you need to be able to protect yourself from liability. Right? That is one of the most important things. And those intermediaries are ways for those issuers to outsource their risk, the liability of their LPs saying, well, did you take the proper steps to ensure that our investment is protected, right? And so it's this education process is a matter of hitting all of those not well-known intermediaries, right? You don't interface with them regularly, their names are not well-known, but they're still incredibly important to that process and you have to educate them as well.
Yeah, fascinating. So, wow, that is a much larger challenge that I don't think many are directly built to address. I mean, people say we should do that, but our core business is X.
Right.
But that's not what we do. But we need to do that.
Right.
And our core business is Y.
And it's
we
also
need to
not money
educate.
making in the short term, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's sort of ecosystem lifting.
Yes.
It's not, that's fascinating. That's actually what we're built to do, but we are but one company.
Right,
and
right.
so
Which is why I like going on your guys' podcast and this televised one as well, because this is a venue for education, and people look to the Security Token Academy as a source of quality education. Because like you said, you can create a YouTube channel and the quality can be suspect, right? There are so many out there where it's like, oh, it's just another YouTube channel. But creating something like what you guys have created, a brand where it's incredibly high production value, you speak with people who are very knowledgeable in the space and who are actually trying to work on these fundamental problems, and then you become that conduit where, if I'm talking to one of these valuation people and I have a question that I can't answer, right, or they just need some better education on something that just something else in the ecosystem, well, I know that I can direct them here, and it will be that conduit of incredible knowledge that I may not have myself, and I know that it's quality.
Very kind of you, and we are going to send that clip to my mother, Elaine Chapnick. I'll save that. Thank you, Henry. So what do you think it's going to take? I know we said education, but in terms of a sort of maybe an ecosystem-wide uptick in adoption, wherever it would be, if it's with more issuers deciding to do STOs, if it's more investors deciding to take a try, is it the institutions coming in? What's going to be one or more of the things that really drive the increase in the size of this ecosystem, maybe say next year?
It'll be bringing the market makers on board. And by that, I don't mean market makers in terms of like the institutions that create liquidity for securities. I mean the actual like market making Wall Street investment banks, right? Mm-hmm. The ones that go out there and you give them a securitized product and they go, all right, I can sell this, and so they go and make a market for it.
Right, wow.
I think that's the most important part, because at the end of the day, we need demand for the products that we're creating.
That's right.
And again, at the end of the day, as much as we may hate them, Wall Street has
the keys to the kingdom.
They do.
I hate to say it, but they do.
They do.
Yes, we can all be friends.
Yes.
I feel.
Yes.
So, okay, that's industry-wide. What about for you guys? How about the next 6 months? What are you expecting to see happen, and what can we expect from you? Or how do you project your business flowing in the next 6 months?
And how do I say it without giving away too much about stuff that I'm working on that I don't necessarily want to go public with yet?
You can say we have 3 exciting things that sound like...
Yes. One thing that we're pursuing very much and is at the forefront of our mind is people talk about reverse ICOs, right?
Okay, yes.
And a reverse ICO is effectively just a conventional company that is creating some sort of a tokenized offering, which the idea that phrase, a reverse ICO, doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense to me either.
It's just an offering, right?
Tokenize.
And we don't call an IPO a reverse IPO because it's an existing company, right? So, but that speaks to this mentality that still exists in this industry to some degree, which is that if you're selling tokens, you need to be a blockchain company. And until we get rid of that mentality,
I don't understand
we're going to have trouble scaling.
Right.
Because we need conventional companies to say, all right, there is a significant benefit to offering my equity in a tokenized format.
Exactly.
Right?
In fact, I mean, and again, maybe it's because I'm not a technical guy. If anything, I'm more familiar with the finance side.
Yeah.
That to me, the way bigger opportunity is literally everything else being tokenized, right?
Yes.
So I get surprised especially when I'm talking to fund guys. Like, we make sure that there's a reason why they're doing their token.
Why
it has
blockchain?
to be blockchain.
Why blockchain?
And if it isn't, then forget it.
Yeah.
I said, but isn't the reason that it's all these other benefits that come inherent with being on a on a ledger that's public?
Exactly.
Anyway.
There are tons of industries out there that will remain not blockchain industries,
but
and we want all of them.
From tokenization.
We want all of them to tokenize as well, and frankly, we want all of them to implement blockchain solutions too. But it's like, if you're a farmer, you're not going to become a blockchain farmer, like you're still going to be at the core, at the end of the day, you're an agriculture business.
Yeah.
But if you want to tokenize that business and it has steady cash flows and investors who want to buy into that, well, then you should absolutely be able to do that without farming,
or
EOS tokens.
fractionalize part
That's
of
how
your
mining
land.
works, right?
You do farm them. Yes. It's pig poo, one layer, right? Then I believe. I forget. I have to look at the book.
Yeah. It all smells like roses, though.
It all very good. That's very true at the end. So, okay, great. Well, then, in terms of 2019, is there anything you want to tell us about what you guys are going to be up to, or is it all just sort of you let us know when the big news drops?
No, well, so I do absolutely think that we will have several of our clients who are not blockchain companies, but who, through evangelism and perhaps a little bit of us putting rose-colored glasses on their faces, they've decided to tokenize equity in their conventional businesses.
Great.
So that's what I'm very excited about for 2019.
Well, you are a friend of the show. You got to come back and keep us posted on your progress soon
Absolutely.
and often.
Yes.
Thank you, Henry.
Thank you so much for having me.